probably shouldn't make this video because I'm reaching this point in life at the age of 62 where I'm getting mean. I'm really mean. I'm so mean right now. I don't even like people walking in front of my house. I've become the sidewalk sheriff. I don't like people doing U-turns in my driveway, which, by the way, I have to replace my driveway apron. It's cracked. I don't think it's because a giant truck did a U-turn. I think it's because of the roots in my neighbor's tree. I think the city is going to have to uproot that tree. I hope they help me pay for the apron, but from my research, they're not going to help me pay. So I'm a mean guy. I've been looking at people walking in front of my house this morning. Why are you walking in front of my house so early in the morning? Anyways, for those of you who don't know me, I am a watch obsessive. And what this means is I am wearing a Seiko Captain Willard, and I love it. It's on my favorite strap. This is a gray original Tropic. I'm so obsessive that I can't wear this on the black Tropic. It's too monochromatic. I like the little contrast of the gray. Only watch obsessives will understand what I'm about to say. So if you're not a watch obsessive, you should probably leave the room because you'll feel awkward. You'll feel embarrassed. You'll feel left out. You'll feel like you're not part of the club. I just want to share something with fellow watch obsessives. Again, if you're not a watch obsessive and you want to continue to have a high esteem of me, just leave because you don't want to know this about me. All right. So whenever I wear a watch, and I have a very small collection, relatively speaking. I mean, I have 8 watches. I love all my watches, and as an obsessive, and only obsessives will understand this, I love wearing them. They make me happy. They put a smile on my face, including this one. But here's the thing about being a watch obsessive. Leave the room, everyone. Do not watch this. As happy as you are with the watch you're wearing as a watch obsessive, there is an intrinsic unhappiness. And here's the unhappiness. The unhappiness is you're not wearing one of the other watches in your box. For every watch satisfaction experience, which I'm having now, there's a watch regret experience because I'm not wearing my MM300 or my SLA055 or my Umera or my 62 Moss. I could go on. So only a watch obsessive would understand that. Here's another thing I learned about myself. I'm retiring in 2 years from teaching college writing. And as a watch obsessive, I've learned something. I'm a slow learner. It takes me forever to figure things out. How does your head work, McMahon? I don't know. I'm still figuring it out. What I learned over time is I'm not happy unless I'm obsessed. And this kind of scares me as someone who's going to retire in a couple of years. Because one of the things I love about my job, well, first of all, they're paying me to constantly be smarter and smarter and smarter, and I love that. But this is the time of year. This is April, and in April and May is a crazy time of year for me. And I've been going through this routine, this tradition, this ritual for like almost 40 years. Because, gosh, I've been teaching since the 1980s. This is insane, dude. I've been teaching for 5 different decades. I can't believe this. Well, here's the thing. I am not one of those writing instructors who just uses the same writing prompts forever because, like, I get depressed. It's boring. I can't do it. I have to have fresh material. And so what I like to have my fresh material for the fall. And here we are. It's like April. And between April and May is when I lose my mind. I get obsessed writing new material. Well, a lot of you will say, well, why don't you write this in the summer? And I'll tell you why. The summer, I get really dumb. I lose 85 IQ points in the summer. My family and I, we go on vacations, man. In fact, we're going to Cabo this summer, and we're going to Mammoth. And in the summer, I get stupid. I walk around all summer in a bathing suit with a beverage in my hand, and I'm sweating. And I'm just dumb. I don't think in the summer. It's just, I don't know, man. I'm like a character out of a 1970s TV show, and I can't. So this is when I get really obsessed. And so a lot of you helped me out. You gave me some ideas for my writing prompts. I was going to give a prompt about Ronnie Coleman, the king, the bodybuilding king, because his ambition caused him to really hurt his body a lot. And one of you told me to look into Lance Armstrong. And I looked at that because I have seen that documentary on Lance Armstrong, but I don't think I'm going to do that essay. I don't want to spend my time excoriating Lance Armstrong. I feel like that topic's already been dragged to death, so I'm not going to do that. Here's what I'm going to be doing, I think. I'm going to have my students watch Food Inc. Part 2, and we're going to look at all this information about Ozempic, and we're going to talk about weight management. Is it something that you can do through your individual self-agency and self-discipline, or is it really systemic? Does the food industry, do they manipulate us? Are they punking us? And I want to look at that. I don't think I could be skinny, frankly. I mean, I try to be disciplined. I work out almost every day. I do eat healthy, but I overeat. The only way I could get skinny, I would have to move to Austin, and I would have to hang out with the fitness bros, the podcasting bros, because I really think your environment is essential to keeping your weight down. Gosh dang, I would love to be a skinny 200 pounds. That's not happening. My appetite is voracious. But I mean, I would have to hang out with Peter Attia in Austin and what's his name? Chris Mathewson, is that his name? Chris Williams. I think his name is Chris Williams. He does the Modern Wisdom podcast. I was watching Chris Williams and Peter Attia yesterday on YouTube. And I wanted to go to Austin. I saw these two fitness bros talking about, taking creatine monohydrate and omega-3 and magnesium and protein. And I wanted to move to Austin. In fact, Chris Williams, he had this background. He's sitting at a desk, but he has this background. It looks like, 18th century or 19th century pioneer America with smoke, TP smoke, and a water wheel. And I want a background now. I want pterodactyls flying in the background and smoke and cavemen running around. Hey, what's going on? But the only way I could be skinny is if I moved to Austin and hung out with the fitness bros who do and I'd go on podcasts with them. Okay, McMahon, that's enough. But anyway, so we'll write an essay about is weight management a fool's errand in this age where food manipulation is so powerful, and then you live with your family, and food is love and family is love, and unless you're in this hermetically sealed circle of other like-minded fitness bros, I don't know how you keep your weight off. Look, man, if I were on some austere diet and my family was just eating normal, I would be like the misfit. I'd be just like pouting in the it'd be disgusting. So we're going to write about that. I want to talk about how media presents fantasies that just derange us. And I want to write I want my students to compare Amanda Knox, who was unfairly prosecuted in Italy for a crime she didn't commit, based on a fantasy, a femme fatale trope, a misanthropic femme fatale trope, misogynistic, not misanthropic. McMahon, get your words straight. And I want to compare it to Elizabeth Holmes in an HBO documentary. It's called The Inventor, where she creates a fantasy of the super tech messiah or the super tech savior, and she does a grift on it, man. She does a grift, and she endangers thousands of people with fake blood work. It's insane. I want the students to look at how I want them to interrogate how the media produces these fantasies and how they derange us in the context of Amanda Knox and Elizabeth Holmes. That's going to be exciting. Now, if I had time, which I don't. I'd let the students watch the Hulu TV series about Elizabeth Holmes. God, that was good too, but we don't have time for that one. Then I want them to interrogate ambition. Now, F. Scott Fitzgerald had a very dark vision of ambition. He wrote The Great Gatsby, which is a very dark... You can't make a movie about that, by the way. People have tried, but they failed, and I'll tell you why in a second. But before he wrote Gatsby, he wrote a little laboratory version of it, a short story called Winter Dreams with Dexter Green. I'm going to have the students read that instead of Gatsby. See, my students would kill me. In the post-smartphone age, students don't read as much as they used to. So if you give them a short story rather than a novel, they're a lot happier. So I'll give them Winter Dreams, which is about ambition, and then I'm going to have them watch the documentary, three-part documentary, Arnold. Arnold is a story of ambition, but it's completely different. What I want to say is in writing and in movies and books, you have two types of motion. If you're a physicist, you'll understand this. You have centripetal motion, where you go into an inner circle, or you have centrifugal, you go out, 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 out. And Hollywood tried to make Great Gatsby. No one wanted to see it because Americans won't go to a Hollywood movie that's centripetal in its motion. What is centripetal motion? Centripetal is a character has a flaw, a delusion, curdled character flaw in the beginning of the story or movie, and it just progressively gets worse until it consumes him. I'll give you an example. Leaving Las Vegas, starring Nicolas Cage, was about a drunk. He's drunk at the beginning of the movie. At the end of the movie, he's a dead drunk. Americans didn't go see that. That movie ruined the career of Elizabeth Shue. She was this beautiful upcoming actress. Don't go in a centrifugal movie. Now, Gatsby wrote centrifugal characters. They were deluded and full of self-aggrandizement and full of malignant narcissism at the beginning of the story. And by the end, they were consumed by it. Americans won't go to that movie. We like Star Wars. Star Wars is centrifugal motion. The character begins with these limitations, and through engaging in progressively greater and greater conflicts, he transforms so that he can have new powerful experiences. We like that character transformation. In Star Wars, what was he? This little dude, Luke Skywalker, living in some Bakersfield planet. And by the end, he's a Jedi. We love that. Now, Arnold takes ambition out of the context of Fitzgerald. It's a good story of ambition. It's about a man who knows how to reinvent himself over and over and over again. Funny enough, Fitzgerald said there are no second acts, but Arnold is a great example of someone who stays hungry, who never surrenders to self-complete. He's a great American story coming from Austria. And so I want the students to compare and contrast ambition in the context of centripetal motion and centrifugal. And by the way, Americans, we won't go to movies like Leaving Las Vegas. If you want those type of movies, go to Europe. They love those type of movies where someone in the beginning of a movie is smoking a cigarette, a clove cigarette, and they're overcome with ennui. Ennui. And by the end of the movie, it's ennui times 1,000. That's your European film. Good luck with that, trying to sell that in America. Like 14 people go to a coffee house and watch that one. So what else am I going to show? Ooh, this is tough. This will be my last new topic. This pains me. So for the last 10 years, I've been showing my students Hassan Minhaj. He's a very talented comedian, and he made a comedy act called Homecoming King about his ambition and heartbreak over a high school girl, and how he had learned to forgive her. It's a beautiful story. But recently, in the last year, the New Yorker did an expose showing that he's told lies in his comedy act. And the problem is, comedians, Are you a comedian, McMahon? I want to be one. Come on. Comedians, I'm not a comedian, man. I'm just some bald fat dude who lives in the suburbs. But comedians, they stretch the truth all the time. But the argument is this. Hasan Minhaj is not a straight comedian. He's not a pure comedian. He's a hybrid. He's part comedian, part journalist. He's trying to drive home political points. He told a lie about his daughter. He said his daughter was exposed to anthrax when it didn't happen, and all sorts of lies. And so the students are going to argue, are his lies justified as a comedian, or did he cross the line in ways that other comedians didn't cross the line? Because, like John Oliver, Hasan Minhaj is not a pure comedian. He's part political commentator. He's part journalist. And so that makes his lies different. It makes them immoral. He actually defends himself on YouTube. And so I'll have my students read his defense and interrogate how persuasive his defense is. So when I go through this process of making all these essay topics, fresh content for the fall, as early as April and May, I go crazy, I lose my mind, I become obsessed, but I've realized over the years that's when I'm happy. And so when I retire in a couple of years, I'll have to replace that whole, going deep into the rabbit hole with something else. Maybe I'll make YouTube videos. I don't know. Depends. I might have to step up my game. Can I take a class on making YouTube videos? Is there like a class I can take, with guaranteed results? That might help. So that's the situation, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you left the room and I told you about the Watch Obsessives happy, sad contradiction at the same time. I really hope so. So what's coming up? I think I need to make a video. I'm all excited. I got a new light. So I want to make a video. I made one yesterday. Can you make a happy home for 62 Moss watches? Can you make a home for two comfort cushion turtle-like watches? This is the Captain Willard and I have the Amura. Maybe I should compare them. I have them on separate straps to create this distance between them. All right, that's all I got today, ladies and gentlemen. I got to get ready for school. It's a big school day for McMahon. All right, I appreciate it. Until next time, I'm out.